Hey guys, Evan here. So, Marvel has been releasing a lot of stuff in the last year and a bit as a part of Phase 4. Now, obviously, there's a lot of stuff here, and while I want to review them all, I didn't want to make separate videos for every movie and show, as that would take forever, and I do not have that much time. So, instead, I made this a massive review of every Phase 4 project in one video. This is going to take a while, so let's get straight into it. But first, a quick warning. There will be spoilers for every Phase 4 project in this video. That includes the recent stuff like Thor: Love and Thunder and Miss Marvel, okay? So watch out. The first project up is the classic WandaVision. Now, I adore WandaVision. You all know this. It's amazing, and Wanda is my favorite MCU character ever. I really enjoyed Catherine Hahn playing Agatha Harkness. I love Tiana Paris as Monica Rambeau. I loved them bringing Darcy and Jimmy Woo back for much bigger roles. And of course, Paul Bettany as the Vision was amazing. And of course, Paul Bettany trolling us all by letting us believe there'd be a massive cameo in the last episode with an actor that he's wanted to work with for years. Was just the biggest internet troll ever. And honestly, just iconic. Thing is, though, like I said, I might be biased, but I'm not alone in my opinion, as WandaVision took over the internet for the 9 weeks it was airing and made Wanda one of the most popular Marvel characters ever. Overall, the show is amazing and almost flawless. But, okay, look, I have one criticism. It's not about the show itself. The show's amazing. But I don't think it would work as well on a rewatch. Okay, let me explain here. WandaVision's main appeal was the mysteries it presented. Why is this happening? Did Wanda do it? Did someone else do it? Did Mephisto do it? Because let's be real here, we all had Mephisto in our heads for all of those 9 weeks. But, like, the main appeal of WandaVision was the mystery. So I feel like if you're watching it all 9 episodes in a row on a rewatch, it might not be as appealing as it was the first time. However, that doesn't mean it's bad. I have gone back and rewatched singular episodes from the show, and I think they're amazing. So, yeah, WandaVision, 10 out of 10. I adore the show. The next project up is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Honestly, this is my second favorite project of all of Phase 4. I adored this show. I think it being like a political intrigue kind of espionage show was amazing. Bucky and Sam were great together, which we only saw snippets of kind of really in only Civil War, but I adored this show so much. I think John Walker was a great villain, and the scene at the end of episode 4 with the blood on the shield blew me away. I have no criticisms. It is only beaten by one project, which we'll get to later. The next project released in Phase 4 was Loki. I'm gonna get so much hate for this one. Loki stands. I'm sorry, but it's my second least favorite Phase 4 project. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it a lot. I think Mobius and Sylvie are two great characters, and as always, Tom Hiddleston does an amazing job. It just didn't really appeal to me as much as some of the other projects. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying, like, compared to the other projects, not one of my favorites. Next up is our first movie of the phase, Black Widow. This is actually one of my favorite movies of Phase 4. I really enjoyed it. Natasha and Yelena's chemistry was really good. I will watch David Harbour in anything. The action scenes were amazing. I enjoyed finally seeing what the Red Room actually was and what it was like. It was a really good movie that we all enjoyed, actually, because as I've mentioned before, I watched it with my mother, and she adored this film. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. It's also the only Phase 4 project I own on Blu-ray, so kind of a sign of how much I liked it. The next project to come out was What If? Another show. Personally, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I mean, the concepts themselves were very intriguing. The animation was so-so, but honestly, it was a pretty good project with a very interesting premise. I'm also super excited for season 2 as they can finally do Phase 4 themed episodes and include Phase 4 characters, and so I'm really, really happy about that. The next project is another movie, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Honestly, I had never heard of Shang-Chi before this movie was announced, and even when I went in to watch the movie, I didn't know a lot about him, but this movie was amazing. The fights were beautiful, the choreography in them was amazing. The characters were lovable, with Trevor Slattery being both a surprising return and a comedic standout, and obviously, we all stand Morris. Overall, I really enjoyed the movie, and I'd actually recommend it to non-MCU fans, which I can't say for a lot of the MCU movies, so highly, highly recommend. The next movie up is Eternals. Listen, this was not the most popular MCU movie out there, but I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I liked the dynamic between the Eternals. I loved seeing all their different powers and how they work together. The introduction of the Black Knight was very cool to see, and technically the first appearance of Blade as well. And Harry Styles was a surprise. Very, very much a surprise. Not a bad one, but certainly a surprise. I just really enjoyed the movie and thought it was very good. Next up, Hawkeye. I I loved it. It was amazing. As a Young Avengers mega fan, I thought that the show did a great job adapting Kate Bishop. I think her and Yelena had very good chemistry, and I hope we see them more in the future. Seeing Clint kind of get like a final story kind of thing was amazing, and also the reveal that his wife was a shield agent was very, very shocking. The return of Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin was very cool for people who have seen the Netflix series, as I have not, but I will eventually, and then that will make the Hawkeye finale even more cool for me. Maya Lopez was a very good antagonist. I loved her in Tracksuit Mafia, and also the tributes to Natasha Romanoff broke my heart. Like, just the fact that Nat told Clint about Yelena made me cry so much. Like, oh my god. And now for the big one, Spider-Man No Way Home. It's amazing. Like, we all know it's amazing. It's spectacular. It's fantastic. We all know it's good. Okay? We all, like, there's no need for me to say it. Seeing all these different villains from all the different Spider-Man movies again was amazing. Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina were standouts in this movie. Seeing freaking Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in suit again and teaming up with Tom was amazing. And seeing Peter, Ned, and NJ and Aunt May and Happy all again was great. They all have such good chemistry after doing these films for so many times. God, it was so good. The comedy was on point. The ending was heartbreaking. Aunt May's death was traumatizing. I spent the last hour of the movie crying, whether it was from sadness or joy. I barely know anymore, but it was such a good movie. Oh, like, we all knew I was gonna praise it. The next project up is Moon Knight, which was a complete out of left field surprise to me. The only things I ever knew about Moon Knight were that he was apparently like Batman and that he had DID. So I knew nothing about him going in, but it was such a good show. I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorites. Action was good, story was good. I loved Layla, she was amazing. I loved all different gods, seeing that kind of world. Taweret was amazing. Like, she was so cute and lovable, and when she chose Layla as her avatar, it was so very, very nice. And of course, we have to give a massive shout out to Oscar Isaac, who literally played two characters in the same body, sometimes in the same scene and sometimes at the same time, switching from character to character. It was pure skill right there. I loved seeing him switch from Steven to Mark back to Steven and do full scenes, sometimes entirely with himself, and actually pulling it off and making it not weird. Like, it was, oh my god, he did so well. And the next project for us to talk about is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Look, just like a No Way Home, you all know I enjoyed this. Wanda getting her well-deserved villain era. Yes, it was deserved. Look at what she's gone through. The introduction of another young Avenger, America Chavez, finally getting a Doctor Strange sequel. Wong being amazing as always. Finally exploring the multiverse properly. It's just, it's such a good movie. Obviously, the cameos weren't as big as we expected, and there weren't as many as we expected, but the ones that we did get were amazing. With Haley Atwell finally playing Captain Carter in live action, John Krasinski, the fan cast of everyone's dreams, finally playing Mr. Fantastic, and, of course, as an X-Men fan at heart, the return of Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier set me off. And speaking of Charles Xavier, that leads me onto our next project. It's really weird to be using Charles Xavier to lead into Miss Marvel, but here we are. Miss Marvel is honestly my favorite Phase 4 project. I think Iman Vellani pulls off Kamala Khan so well. I think she did a great job, and she's probably one of my favorite actors in the MCU at the moment. I think her family was all amazing. Her mother, especially, was great, and her character development for 6 episodes was just amazing. I love Bruno. I love Kamran. They were all amazing. Obviously, I know everyone was very mad about her backstory being changed, and listen, I had not read the Miss Marvel comics before I saw the show. I have now. I've read most of her first run, I think. Like I read the first 3 volumes of her run, and I think that's most of it. I think there's only like 4 or 5, so I should be good. I've read most of it, and I will say the stretching powers do make a lot of sense in the comic, but I think they did pull off the power change very well in the show. I am also very happy that they improved her family. I hate her family in the comics. I swear to God, her mother's horrible. Her brother's just annoying. Her dad is okay. Her dad's actually pretty good in the comics, so I'm very happy that her family was extremely improved and were not as annoying as they are in the comics. That's right, I said it. And of course, this became the first MCU project to introduce mutants, with Bruno saying that Kamala has something different in her genes, like a mutation. And of course, the theme. Oh my god! Listen, as a 6-year X-Men fan at the moment, I was so happy about this. I've always loved the X-Men. I was very happy about this. Finally! This show has honestly made Miss Marvel not only one of my favorite MCU characters, but one of my favorite Marvel characters, and I am so excited for the Marvels next year now, which I wasn't really excited for the Marvels originally, but after Miss Marvel and loving Monica and WandaVision, I'm so happy about it. And now, our final project, For Love and Thunder. Listen, it feels so bad to be ending this on a bad note. I only saw this a couple days ago, and it's not my favorite. I'm sorry. It's not that good. I'm so sorry. It's not. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. I love Jokey Thor. I loved how he was in Infinity War, and Ragnarok improved the character for me a lot. Like, I liked Thor originally, but then Ragnarok came along and he became amazing. But this movie, it just didn't work that well. There was a lot of running gags that just did not work. Like the goats, the whole thing of Stormbreaker being jealous over Mjolnir, that was weird. That creeped me out a little bit, in all honesty. Like, just a lot of it felt strange. My personal thoughts on this is that I feel like Marvel were probably trying too hard to recreate Ragnarok instead of just kind of letting it happen. So that's my personal thoughts on why the humor doesn't work as well. I also feel like Chris Hemsworth doesn't bring as much fun to the role as he usually does. Honestly, he just, like, Thor just seemed kind of sulky this movie. I'm not blaming Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is an amazing actor, and I'm very happy that he got another movie and he's getting more movies with Marvel because he deserves it, and he's a great actor. I'm just saying, like, Thor himself just didn't really seem, he just seemed kind of sulky for a lot of the movie. I don't know. Gore the God Butcher as well. I have not read Jason Aaron's Thor run, so I haven't actually read the God Butcher storyline, but I do have to say that Gore, while a good villain, he switched from scary to silly at random points of the movie, and it was very, very strange to me. I do have to say, though, one thing saved the movie for me. Dr. Jane Foster, aka the Mighty Thor. Natalie Portman was amazing in this movie. I loved her so much. She was charismatic. She was actually funny. Oh my god, she made me feel so much for Jane. Like, oh my god, for someone who has not been in the MCU for, what, 8 years? It's amazing how she just kind of clicked back in and improved the role a lot from her first 2 appearances. Also, even though she is now Valhalla, I'm really crossing my fingers here that the Thor will return card at the end of it was meaning her, because I love her so much, and I really hope that she is in the new Avengers that we're getting in Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. So yeah, very, very happy about that, and I really hope that she is returning, especially because like, why would they have Thor will return after her entering Valhalla with Heimdall as well? It's really cool to see Idris Elba, but like my thing is, why would they have the Thor will return card after that? Because like they always put the this character will return after the tease that shows you that that character will return, and the fact that showing Jane Valhalla instead of just like us accepting it makes me think we're gonna visit Valhalla eventually, and she's gonna return. I really hope so, because let's be real here, as is the rule in comics, no character stays dead except for Uncle Ben. And the fact that originally that had three people and two of them were revived just shows that no one stays dead in comics. Overall, Phase 4 has been my favorite phase of the MCU, and I'm so excited for the final two projects, She-Hulk Attorney at Law and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I think they both look great from their Comic-Con trailers, and I'm really excited to see how this phase ends. So, yeah. In my script, I have like, oh, with stuff like Wakanda Forever, The Marvels, House of Harkness, and even a new Fantastic Four movie coming in the next couple of years. This is clearly just the beginning of the phase, and then at Comic Con we found out that only one of those is actually in Phase 4 at the moment. So I just found that very funny. What do you all think of Phase 4? Please leave your opinions down in the comments, and while you're down there, feel free to like and subscribe. Goodbye and good luck.